Let's be honest, most things under $10 are total crap. However, after nearly 6 years of full-time RVing, I actually have some items under $10 for your RV that are actually worth it. So let's go take a look. Join me in my kitchen. The first one is a paper towel roll holder. This seems like super basic thing. However, finding the right one is really important. For one, we don't have a lot of counter space, so it needs to come up off the counter. And the second thing is when we are moving down the road, this thing totally comes unrolled and it's a nightmare. But this particular one I love because when we get ready to go on the road, all I do is pull out this little tiny rubber ball, just like that. And that keeps it from unrolling when we're on the road, if I remember to do it, which I don't always remember. I do not recommend getting the ones that come down from the under cabinet and then just have the arm going across, because you can't prevent it from unrolling when you're traveling. Paper towel roll holder, awesome. The next one is a voltage test monitor. Now this is great for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is not uncommon to accidentally pop your circuit breaker in your rig if you overload it by using too much. And so this not only tells me that if we have power, if we lose power, this won't have a screen, it'll be blank. And so I know immediately that we've lost power. The other thing that's great is it tells me how much voltage we have coming to the RV at this moment. So right now, we're at about 120 volts, 121, but if I use the microwave or the washing machine or the air conditioning, this number is going to drop. And so if it gets to about 111, 110, that means I know that we're close to popping our circuit and I don't want to put any more power on it. So if I'm running our washing machine, our microwave, I don't want to turn the AC on. And so this is definitely something that you want to have to monitor whether or not your RV is getting power, as well as make sure you don't pop your circuit, because that's never fun. All right, let's go into the bedroom. Finny is more than $10. Her cuteness is priceless. But we're going to talk about hooks. Now, there's not a lot of places to put things on walls in RVs. There's not a lot of cabinet space, but hooks are vital. We put them everywhere. So for example, I have a hook right here, and this is where I store my little sleep mask. If I'm knitting in bed, sometimes I put my knitting pouch on it. And so these are just those plastic command hooks that don't do any damage to your walls. You can take them off, move them, whatever you need to do, but those aren't permanent. And so I like those. And then the other hooks that we did put in that are permanent are more the metal hooks. These go into more the exterior walls, where rather than a cabinet wall. And I use these all over the place. I'm going to show you where we use them. And this is where I keep extra hoodie, pajamas, because I'm too lazy to put them away. And then I usually have a knitting pouch right here as well. And those are just a really great secure place. The command hooks aren't going to hold that much weight. So that's why we have some of those metal hooks to have a little more weight on those. And then over here, on the husband's side, he also has hooks, but he likes to put more up. So he has the double hook and a single hook. And that way he has a place to put all of his stuff. And if you'll notice, he also has the command one for his headphones. These are the types of things that you're going to figure out where you want to put them and what you want to have access to. And so over the course of those 6-ish years, we've sort of strategically put these up all over the place. Let me show you where else I've put them. In the living room, I have a little hook spot right here, and this is where I generally put my notions pouch for knitting and crochet, because if I'm just sitting here working, I've got access to it right here, easy peasy, so I do have that. Now I do have a little clip one here. I used to put my pattern right here. If I was working on a piece and I had a pattern, then I could be working and then just look over and reference my pattern. I've been writing a lot of my own patterns lately, so I haven't had any paper patterns, but these also work really great. Just the little clothespin type hooks. Again, command, so you can easily take it off and you don't ruin your furniture. We also have hooks in the bathroom. I love them to put towels on, as well as you do not want to close your shower door without it being dried off. And so we have some drying towels that I can easily access from inside the shower without opening the door. So we have our drying towels. So hooks, whether they are metal and permanent or command, great thing, we love them. The number one thing about RVing is every time you go to a new location, you have to make sure everything is secured. That's kind of annoying. So Velcro has been our best friend, and especially in the bathroom. So I have Velcro on our toothbrush holder, so Velcro, so I don't need to do anything with this. It's just right there secured. Anytime we move, it's not going anywhere. This basket is Velcroed in. This is where we keep our lotions and potions and stuff. So that's nicely Velcroed in. And the Kleenex box, which also has a strip of Velcro, so we can easily change it. but I don't need to put it somewhere every time we move. So Velcro is also a beautiful thing. So as you'll see, Velcro on hooks, love them. Next up is a gauge, a leveling gauge. RVs are never fully level. However, if you want to be able to quickly check to see if you're level front to back or left to right, this little gauge right here, super cheap, super easy. We use it every single time we get to a new RV park and set up. So, leveling gauge. All right, now since we're at the front door, let's go ahead and head outside. I'm going to show you a couple of items that we have outside that are must-haves. You also want to protect your leveling jack from the sun. This is going to get brutalized by the sun if it is just exposed out in the open all the time. So we have a leveling jack pouch. This one's pretty old. I think we've had this since the beginning and it's falling apart a little bit, but for 6 years it's still holding together. And so you don't want this to get baked. And so just buying a very simple cover is going to keep that nice and secure. And then when we get ready to go, it gets cinched tight and then it doesn't go anywhere when we're on the move and it's protected from the sun. So I highly recommend one of these so you don't destroy your leveling jack by the sun. And last up is something that seems a little silly, but it is so important. Now this is my husband's domain, but he swears by these, and that is rubber gloves. Now these are not expensive. You don't want disposable because you want something that has a little bit of grip on it, as well as they're not gonna fall apart, and disposable is not good for the environment. So rubber gloves, and he uses these for everything except the poop hose. He has a set of gloves that are specifically for the poop hose, which I'm not going to touch. So anytime he's working with the black tank, the sewer hose, he uses that set of gloves. Everything else is these gloves right here, and these protect his hands. If you need to move a picnic table, sometimes there's splinters, and so he'll throw these on and we'll move the picnic table. But I highly recommend investing in a couple of pairs of rubber gloves. And so there you go. Those are some of the items that we use all the time that are less than $10. We use them just about every day or at least every time we move. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Krista. I'm on a quest to check off 1,000 bucket list adventures. This is the vessel that's taking me on some of those adventures. If you have an item that is under $10 that you use all the time for your RV, make sure you put it in the comments below. I would love to hear what maybe we're missing and what we need. And I have all of the links to these items in the description below, so check that out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click subscribe below. I am going to be doing an entire series on RVing for beginners. And so if you're interested in this lifestyle, be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got a moment, give it a thumbs up, a like. It really does help my channel grow and I appreciate it. If you're interested in full-time RVing or even just RVing, be sure to watch this video here. I've got a lot of information for you. Thank you so much for being here and I will see you on the next adventure.